So earlier today, Donald Trump sent out a tweet. It was his social media version of the traditional holiday greeting card. And let's take a look at it. And so you're probably noticing what many people noticed is that this is a guy who's about to become the most powerful person in the country on a holiday that's supposedly, I mean, he's a big Christian. This is supposed to be the mother of all holidays. And all we got was a crummy fist, a little tiny-handed fist and a tree. I mean, it's just him. His family isn't even there. It's got like shitty graphic design. This is the best that you can come up with, and you're about to be the president? No, he failed. And look, obviously, it's just a tweet. We shouldn't focus on it too much, but it is Christmas, and so I wanted to do hopefully a little bit better. I wanted to thank you for everything that you've done as viewers, not just of this channel, but people who probably watch the Young Turks. Many of you probably were involved during the primary earlier this year. You were probably passionately involved during the general election. And although I don't know your individual contributions, I am thankful for you, for contributing the way that you did, whether you're in the Democratic Party or honestly if you're a sane person in the Republican Party. It's extremely important to me and hopefully important to you that people take up the great duty and responsibility of being an involved citizen in a democracy. And so on Christmas, I am thankful for that. This is the holidays, it's a time of reflection, and for me generally it's a time to start to prepare myself for the next year and figure out what I want my priorities to be. Some of that I've been talking about on the channel recently, some of it is going to be coming up in the near future. But a lot of it does have to do not just with the country, you know, that's around me in the frame right now. I'm in Florida, which hopefully will flip in the next election. But it is about you guys and other people in this country and around the world, man. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be hurting. There are people hurting right now in the holidays, and I've done little things, you know, where I can, the normal sorts of contributions and donations that everybody does around the holidays. Hopefully you've been doing that as well, and as you go through your holidays, if you see people who are already hurting, the sorts of people who were hurting leading up to this election, but also those who are having a hard time in the holidays, hopefully you will do more than our president-elect, and you will help out those people where you can. This is an important time where we start to reflect on what's really most important. We are going into a difficult period, a period of almost unchecked power of the Republican Party, and they're dead set on destroying the various accomplishments that President Obama has had, rolling back the social safety net, possibly getting us into a nuclear arms race. But there are things that we can do and things that we can focus, not just on self-care, which is important, but on others. I can say, and I know that this is kind of cheesy, family is extremely important, more important during the holidays, and even more important when the country is going through rough times. And so I'm going to be redoubling my commitment to staying close to my family, despite the fact that they live on the other side of the country from me. Keeping up with friends. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to need help. We ourselves are going to need help. We have to help ourselves, and we have to help our friends. And then find ways around this country that we can make a positive change. I mean, there are people right now, as I'm sitting in Florida, there are people who are still trying to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline from being created. Many of them have been out there for months already. Many of them will be out there for months, to the bitter end, to try to stop it. There are people who are dealing with Flint, obviously. There are people who are realizing that lead poisoning is all around the country. Thanks to Reuters' investigation, we know that there are literally thousands of counties that are worse off in terms of lead. Those are things that we can help to fix. Little problems and huge problems alike. There are so many of those. And we're outside of an election. A lot of us, our involvement, our activism was focused on the election, perhaps rightly so. But now we go back to the, in many ways, even more difficult task of trying to improve the country outside of the quest to get certain people elected. We have opportunities, hundreds and hundreds of opportunities every single day to make a positive change, to make a positive influence on the country and on the world. I don't know exactly which areas I'm going to focus the most on this coming year. If you have suggestions, I would love to hear them. But that, in this holiday time, when I am privileged enough to be sitting in goddamn Florida, that's what I'm thinking about, is how I am mentally gearing up to go back into the fight once the new year starts. Once the huge assaults on voting rights and on fundamentally the democracy of the United States happens. We're seeing it in North Carolina already, when they start to try to dismantle Obamacare, and dozens of millions of people might lose their health insurance and face bankruptcy or even death as a result of that. There's so many problems that we already have, and even more that we're about to face. And hopefully, as you're relaxing, and I know this is a time when I shouldn't be a downer, I know, but we got some big fights to get ready for, so hopefully you're preparing yourself.